Well, welcome back. Lawmakers are still butting heads on border security, and cartels are using this time to find some new ways to smuggle drugs into the U.S. So will the wall, or a border barrier, help keep these drugs off the streets? Here now to weigh in is a former Tucson, Arizona police officer and the director of urban engagement at Turning Point USA, Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us so early this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So it's very timely to have you on because we were just referencing this historic fentanyl seizure that happened back in January, on January 28th, actually. 252 pounds of fentanyl, 2 pounds of fentanyl pills. The amount, bottom line, could kill 57 million people. Now, they discovered this in a tractor trailer, I guess in the floorboards. They were trying to go through a port of entry there in Arizona. You know, does this surprise you at all? How big is the problem when it comes to cartels and drugs, specifically in Arizona?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. The cartel has more financial backing than the Mexican government. They are running the border. As you can tell, even with the rhetoric that's being presented here in America, they're still trying to send hundreds of millions of dollars worth of drugs to our border. This is exactly why we need more border security so that our Border Patrol agents and local law enforcement can focus on some of these areas instead of trying to patrol this empty border and vacant places where there's no wall.
Yeah, and this particular seizure happened, you know, involving a tractor trailer through a port of entry. But the other thing that they're doing are all these tunnels in Arizona. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're seeing, or it's being revealed to us, a lot of tunnels that have been dug. I mean, this is not something that's a surprise to us. Again, we need to secure a barrier there so that our Border Patrol agents can focus on things like tunnels being dug and other means that the cartel and people in Mexico are trying to utilize to get drugs, guns, sex trafficking, and other things into our country illegally.
Yeah, and when you hear Democrats say, and I keep asking people this, people that have firsthand knowledge like you down there at the border in these border states, when you hear Democrats talk about this being a manufactured crisis, but then you look at these incidents involving drugs and guns and the cartel, what would you say directly to them?
I think they need to stop being disingenuous and start really focusing on what's best for the people. As a former police officer in Southern Arizona, I saw the influx of heroin and fentanyl. I mean, we caught, you know, the fentanyl that you had illustrated before. Imagine how much fentanyl we don't catch. Imagine how much heroin is coming into our country that we don't get in control. People are dying every single day. It's not a manufactured crisis. All you got to do is ask anybody on the Border Patrol or ask the family of people who are overdosing almost on a day-to-day basis. So I would tell them to stop being disingenuous, start focusing on American people, and stop with the hatred against President Donald Trump.
Yeah, you know, it's impacting these individual families. It's impacting communities as a whole. And we appreciate you, you know, being able to talk about your firsthand experience. I want to shift, though, to this because speaking to students at Arizona State University, Howard Schultz, you know, says he's going to, you know, run for president, but he's pledging not to be a spoiler in the 2020 White House race. Listen to what he had to say at ASU there in Arizona.
I think President Trump is unqualified to be the president, and no one in America, trust me, wants to see him removed from office and not reelected more than me. I can promise you I'm not going to do anything to be a so-called spoiler in all this.
What do you think about that? What is he up to, and how is he going to play in Arizona?
Well, he's starting off on a bad note because he just lied. If he thinks he's going to run as an independent, he's going to be a spoiler. He's going to go in and lose miserably, and it's going to take attention away from some of the other failing Democrats that are running. But, I mean, he's a liberal. He's trying to do something that seems to be out of the box in order to garner some attention. I honestly believe that he is literally trying to build his name a little more before he becomes completely irrelevant. I don't think he's going to win, and nobody's buying his message.
No, I mean, year after year, you can see how it does play out, and someone that runs like him does end up being a spoiler for either, you know, one party or the other. So it makes you wonder what he's really up to.
Yeah, I think they're throwing everybody in the bag, hoping to make a distraction somewhere, because they really have no candidates that are legitimately running for president in 2020. It's kind of exciting for me But I really do think that they're throwing everything they can into the bag in order to, confuse the American people, hoping that they'll at least get some attention.
Well, first things first, let's get this border crisis solved, and let's not drag it out until the 2020, which maybe some people are trying to do. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we would love to have you back.
Thank you for having me anytime.
Have a good day.